Hello everybody. This video is to talk about David and Jonathan and why I think Jonathan was so enamored with David, mostly because I read that Jonathan, when he went to go fight the Philistines with his father, he got away from the group and him and his armor bearer went over to the cliff where the Philistines were in the back over there. And Jonathan told his armor bearer, I'm going to go over there and see if we can fight from this side. Armor bearer was like, go ahead, do what you want. I'm with you. And Jonathan was like, well, because God, he can fight with us, whether with little or with many, you know. And he had his plan. He was like, I'm going to go. And if they say, come down to us, that means that the Lord allowed us to win. And if they say we're going to come up to you, then we're just going to let them fight with us. And we're just going to take our L's and call it a day. And when they went over to the cliff, and they were looking down at the people, one of the peoples apparently had a dream. And he was telling the other guys, had a dream that a barley loaf was rolling through where we were. And the other guy was like, that's nothing but Jonathan, Saul's son. And, that's another thing to analyze over a bit. Jonathan heard them and shouted. He was like, yo. And the people were like, yeah, come on down here. We got something for you. And Jonathan was like, see? So him and I remember ran down there and took out everybody. Well, a lot of people. And after that, when they came back to where the people were, but before they got there, they ate something. Okay, so that's another story. But here's where just David came in. So David, when Jonathan, Saul, and everybody was on campgrounds, they set up a camp. So David came through to feed his brothers. And it's a different time, but David came through to feed his brothers. And, the Philistine giant was talking, Goliath, we all know that story. And so David's all like, yo, what do you get for killing the giant? And they were like, yeah, you get this, and that. So David said, bet, let me try my hand. So they took him over there to the king. And then, the story how the king got, tried to put armor on him. And they questioned him. It's like, you think you could do this? He was like, yeah, I can do this. I fought bears and lions and what's not, protecting my sheep. And then he was like, but you think you could do this? And he's like, yeah, I can do this. So they gave him armor. But he's like, yo, I can't. This armor, it's not me. So he took off the armor, but he had a slingshot. He went down to the brook there, and he got 5 smooth stones. Y'all know the story. Okay, so here's the part where Jonathan comes in, right? So David said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine, right? And how dare he defy the armies of the living God? What I failed to tell you was that Jonathan, he also said that before he was like, let's go over to this bridge, because he was like, who is this guy who has the gall to talk about us like that? Like we nobody, but we are part of the army of the living God. And God can save us, whether by many or by few, right? And the armor bearer was like, well, do you? I'm gonna roll with you no matter what. So that is why I believe Jonathan's heart latched in with David, because David and him was on the same wavelength of conversation when it came to the army of God and the Philistine. They both thought that he was disrespectful and rude and he could be easily taken down. And they were both willing to take him down. And that is why Jonathan loved David so much, because David David was like a man after his own heart, so to speak, because he believed the same thing about the same guy and said the same words. So it was just like, oh my gosh, it's such a confirmation. Like, this guy said exactly what I said. I love this guy so much. Oh my gosh, kind of like that. He said exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said, basically. And so that's how he became his best friend, because he knew this guy. Him and this guy clicked, you know, on that level of warfare where, like, this could be my best friend right here. And also, if you think about it, there's nothing to think about, really. He said it. Saul tried to kill his son for eating honey, when he put this big old "we gonna fast till we die" kind of thing on people. And then David almost got killed by Saul too. So definitely they were brothers in action. They were brothers in what you call that thing? In I passed the store. Okay, they were brothers in arms, that's so to say. And I feel like that's really why Jonathan loved him so much and was like, it doesn't matter if you don't have all the things. I've got some of the things. So here's all the things that I have. You and I will be brothers for life. That's what I think. Okay. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.